That was back in the day when Oprah was a big water buffalo. Whoopi saw something no human being should have seen. Maybe a night feeding, something she saw. Maybe Oprah was eating children. I don't know. Whoopi. The devil works in Hollywood. That Hollywood, and there's a lot of black folks too. And they be throwing up them signs. You see them, this, that, all.
It's like, I know y'all love her and all that other, but it's for me. Okay, well, I'm glad you're hip to it because I out and Oprah's got nerves. I mean, seriously. No, that Montel, he don't count. I'm talking about Oprah.
Ever wish you were white?
I mean, if you're 7 years old and somebody, which I was trying to say this to my friends who had children, you're 7 years old and someone is stroking your, it feels good. Right. Even though you don't have a name for what that is, it feels good. And when I first said this years ago, people were like, you're crazy because everybody wants to believe it's like and you're being thrown up against.
Be sacrificed and you would have to, you know, there were people who bred babies in our family. No one would know about it. A lot of people were overweight, so you couldn't tell.
Why does Oprah have a relationship with a man who owned baby farms? The man I'm talking about in particular is John of God. John of God claimed to miraculously heal people, was later to reveal to have been running a sex slave farm.
Girl Paul was not letting up on Oprah all the way till he died. And just before that even happened, he went on Monique's show and blatantly called Oprah a raging devil worshiper. He went off on her several times for being a gatekeeper. Mind you, he was saying this in front of Monique. The same Monique who has been on Oprah's biggest op and made similar allegations against her. I don't know y'all, but everyone cannot be telling the same lie. The rappers, watch them folks, it's scary, it's very scary, that devil is real. Well, what is this, OH, the devil in this mess? Yeah, 'cause I closed this UP. I thought this was rock, be careful, no the goat, be careful, they'll get you. Be careful, let me keep 'em my hands down, I was going like this like rock. And don't even get me started on Oprah's infamous spiritual healer, John of God, who has since been sentenced to 100 years for being horrible to women. John of God as a miraculous faith healer, one who could cure cancer, giving him international recognition. Zhao Tashira is now serving 19 years in prison for the of 4 women. He is facing additional cases related to several sex crimes, including keeping teenage women as slaves in underground mines, forcing them to have his and selling their internationally for tens of thousands of dollars before the women after about 10 years of childbirth. One thing about Paul, he'll tell you a joke, but he'll never tell you a lie. During his comedy special, It's the End of the World, he said, "The reason Oprah and Whoopi Goldberg didn't get along after working on Color Purple is because Whoopi allegedly caught Oprah munching on you-know-what. Even South Park supposedly did an episode years ago with clear imagery of a character that seemed to be Oprah drinking red fluid. That was back in the day when Oprah was a big water buffalo. Whoopi saw something no human being should have seen. Maybe a night feeding something she saw. Maybe Oprah was eating children. I don't look. And so to hear people say things that are just crazy like I'm a part of a cabal, and there's a whole conspiracy with that stuff makes me sad. It makes me sad more than anything that people would believe it. And you know, it's taken me a long time to get to the point that I'm not I don't feel hurt by it. I don't feel personally hurt by it, but now I know we live in a world where it's going to be magnified. You see, for the longest time, Oprah has been linked to several shady things like her sketchy all-girls school in South Africa and a bunch of shady people like Epstein, Weinstein, and her so-called spiritual healer. But every time she's been called, she claims she had absolutely no idea what these men were getting up to. She always just so happens to be in the wrong place and at the wrong time. Girl, please, but do you know who has never fallen for her BS? Paul Mooney. And boy, did he had a lot to say. So in 2007, Oprah opened her all-girls school in South Africa, the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls. This school was built as a haven for disadvantaged girls in grades 8 through 12. However, it has proven to be anything but that. Multiple students accused dormitory matron Virginia Macopo of SA. She was arrested in November 2007, but was released on bail. And word on the street is Oprah was allegedly the one who secretly paid that bail. But that wasn't even the worst part. There were also speculations of numerous missing girls from the academy and a newborn being dumped in the school's trash bin. Oprah Winfrey has had a lot of controversy around her African school for girls, with huge conspiracy theories starting that these girls were going missing from Oprah's school. All of these theories started shortly after Oprah opened her school in 2007, and the matron of that school was charged with SA of 7 different girls. Oprah ended up offering a public apology to the parents and citing her own SA incidents in this apology. But the matrion would then be found not guilty of these crimes. But then it shocked the nation, because shortly after this, Oprah's school was hit with another SA allegation. 7 students were suspended for harassing and fondling classmates. And a lot of people thought that this stemmed from the very first incident, because why would these children be acting like this? And the rumor started swirling after this point, because they just didn't understand how these things could happen so close to one another. And then boom, there was another investigation at Oprah's school after the body of a newborn was found in a girl's book bag. And as if that wasn't bad enough, Oprah later appeared in a lawsuit filed against Jeffrey and Ghislaine Maxwell by Virginia Dye as an alleged accomplice. Not only that, but she was also on Jeffrey's private jet records. But here's the thing, though, that really gets people. There have actually been several instances where Oprah has dismissed the stories of SA victims. Like, for example, there is a video of her resurfacing right now where she straight defended PDF files, and another one of an SA victim telling her story on Oprah Winfrey, detailing some rituals she witnessed. But Oprah scrapped and never rebroadcasted after it aired. Somebody you admire, somebody you respect, or maybe even love, and it feels good. I mean, if you're 7 years old and somebody. Which I was trying to say this to my friends who had children. You're 7 years old and someone is stroking your PA. It feels good, even though you don't have a name for what that is, it feels good. And when I first said this years ago, people were like, "You're crazy because everybody wants to believe it's like sex, and you're being thrown up against the wall and you're being raped." And I have said for years, if the abuse is any good, you witness the sacrifice, right? When I was very young, I was forced to participate in that, in which I had to sacrifice an infant. And the purpose of sacrifice is to what? Is to bring you what? What are you sacrificing for? For power, power, woo. That was very disturbing to listen to, and the way Oprah was gaslighting that girl is crazy. But it didn't end there, because she somehow managed to get herself involved with another shady person. This time it was the infamous Brazilian spiritual healer Tara de Feria, aka John of God. Oprah visited his Abadania Center in 2012, filming for her program. The 2013 broadcast on Oprah's Next Chapter hailed him as inspiring, showcasing his psychic surgeries and giving him major publicity that he wouldn't have ever had if not for her documenting him. In December 2018, however, nearly 600 women accused him of extreme SA during supposed healing sessions, often involving invasive procedures without consent. Feria was arrested, and his sentencing began in December 2019 with 19 years and 4 months for 4 essays. There were additional trials in the following years, including a major September 2023 ruling adding 118 years for 17 more victims, resulting in a cumulative sentence exceeding 489 years. Oprah promptly removed the segment from her website and issued the generic PR statement to further separate herself from him. It was also alleged that other celebrities and politicians like Bill Clinton and Naomi Campbell flew all the way to Brazil to see this man. Of course, Naomi's name is in there. She's always there but never knows anything. Just like Oprah, why does Oprah have a relationship with a man who owned baby farms? The man I'm talking about in particular is John of God. John of God claimed to miraculously heal people, was later to revealed to have been running a sex slave farm and sold babies out of this farm. This story is literally so insane. Him and Oprah were very close. Oprah even went down to Brazil to see him and film a segment for him. Bill Clinton, Paul Simon, Naomi Campbell are all his clients. Now, the Brazilian government claimed that he committed some of the worst crimes in the country's history. Brazilian activist Sabrina Bittencourt investigated him and led him to get arrested. She claimed her investigations proved that he ran a baby operation where were farmed in Brazil before being sold to childless couples around the world. She even claimed that young were being held captive in remote farm where they were forced to get pregnant, and then they would get after 10 years of supplying Joel. Sabrina bent in court M.